Guys, today, through the court offside, Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead to break a story that Fabio Vieira to Marseille might be considered in the January transfer window. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. This is the Football News Show as we discuss this breaking story coming in from Fabrizio Romano that Arsenal are looking to move on Fabio Vieira. I don't know how many of you are obviously okay with it, but all in all, we are here to discuss about it. And he has also gone ahead to add more to the Tottenham Hotspur problems, and he's going to highlight exactly what the problem is and what the January transfer window plan is for Ange Postecoglou, having gone ahead to obviously have very many injuries in the first 3 months of the season. And then Rico Lewis has gone ahead and obviously had something to say about his future with the England national team, and he expects to obviously be at the Euros in 2024. So smash the like button close to 300 times. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And Rokani David is really my name. You can as well call me already. Now let's set it going. Now, Fabio Vieira is one of those players that I really love. Talented, swift left foot, smooth and sleeky is Fabio Vieira. But today morning, via the court offside, Fabrizio Romano happened to obviously drop this huge bomb coming in from him and his sources, and he told us the following: that Arsenal's Fabio Vieira has been linked with a surprise move to Marseille in January. So, Arsenal are really wanting to move on Fabio Vieira. I know most of you are going to be pissed, but according to how everything is really happening at Arsenal, they've not gone ahead to offer what we call good development for this guy. Let's all admit, this is not the development that everyone would love for this guy. He has not gotten enough playing time last season. He was obviously really one of the best players I really saw at Arsenal. And this season, he had some 4-5 games where he obviously ran the show, and we thought that, oh, maybe he has gone ahead to obviously hit that mark that Mikel Arteta thought he would hit when he signed him from FC Porto. Remember, they signed him for like £35 million from that side, and he was one of those surprises that we obviously got to know when Fabrizio Romano went ahead and said, here we go. We never had any story about Fabio Vieira being linked to Arsenal, but we only had one thing. It's a here we go, and he was signed in the summer of 2022. Now, coming in through at Arsenal, he has gone through a lot of struggles, but if you are his well-wisher, you would obviously want him to obviously live on loan. The competition at Arsenal is really huge. Let's obviously understand this. It's really huge. The competition at Arsenal is really huge. And Martin Odegaard, a player would have gone ahead to play in his position, has shown us that he's not injury prone. And when he's really out, then it's Kai Havertz who plays in that position, meaning that they've ideally found a replacement for Fabio Vieira in Kai Havertz. And that's why you see to it that Arsenal is looking to sign a central defensive midfielder in the January transfer window who can obviously play as a CDM and a box-to-box midfielder. That's why you see that Arsenal is linked to Paulinho from Fulham. They are linked to this other guy. They are linked to Ruben Neves, and they are linked to Douglas Luiz. So it shows you exactly what the script is and why this loan is going to be considered by Arsenal, as Fabio Vieira won't be getting enough playing time at Arsenal. And in the same way, you would anticipate that Arsenal should do the same thing for Emile Smith-Rowe. They should obviously loan Emile Smith-Rowe, because if they don't, then trouble is obviously going to come in through, as Arteta might lose control of his dressing room, as these players will be obviously questioning for why they're not getting ample playing time at the club. That is it. So let's all understand where this is coming in from. It's coming in from a perspective that Arsenal are willing to obviously sign a central defensive midfielder who can double as a number 8 or a box-to-box midfielder. And when that one comes in through, then the chances of Fabio Vieira playing at Arsenal are obviously going to be very, very limited. And the problem with him is that he only plays one position as a number 10, and that's where Martin Odegaard plays. And when you look at the season of Arsenal, They've gone ahead to try him out on several positions as a right forward where Bukayo Saka plays. He has not gone ahead to thrive there. So Arteta has no reason to obviously keep him here because he's not going to get enough playing time that he deserves. And with Arsenal planning to obviously make a very huge overhaul in the summer, especially the midfield, they would fancy this guy to go to Marseille, play some 6 months there, and get what we call a regular football. If he gets a regular minute in his legs, all of us believe he's going to become a very, very, very good player, and he will obviously return at Arsenal and do the needful. Look at a player like William Saliba. William Saliba was a player that was loaned to Lille at first, then he was loaned to Marseille, and he went ahead to put in results. Even Nuno Tavares put in results, but because of his indisciplinary actions, that's what really brought him at loggerheads with the manager of Marseille. But Marseille has a very good connection with Arsenal, and we all believe that they are going to be playing those games very, very well. And Fabio Vieira, if it goes in Marseille, his position is guaranteed. His position is guaranteed, and Marseille will have a chance to obviously get a player who obviously plays in a position of creativity. And we all know what this guy is all about. It's all about him putting in what we call assists in the final third. And when you look at the table of the French League One, Marseille is really doing bad. In 11 games, it's having 13 points. So they need a player like this guy, Fabio Vieira, to come and obviously elevate their midfield to the next level. And when you look at the players they're really having, Kondobia, Veretout, I think you can obviously offer them Correa, Oliveira, they will have some good players, but the problem has always been, I think, scoring goals. They've not been scoring enough goals. The last game they played, they lost to Lens by 1-0. They won Athens in the UEFA Europa League by 2-0. They drew with Lens, right? Sorry, Olympic Lyon. So their problem, when you look at their stats this season, especially in the league, it's all about them not scoring enough goals. That's the problem. But in Europe, they are scoring very many goals. But in their league, they are obviously not putting in very many goals and balls at the back of the net, meaning that if at all he goes there, he might obviously hit the ground running. And it will be something good for Arsenal that if he goes there and does well, Arsenal could either retain him or sell him and really get back their money, because if he has some good 6 months in France and puts in some assists and some goals, teams will look at him and obviously say, like, we want to cough in like £50 million for Fabio Vieira, you know? Obviously, that will be good business for the side of Arsenal. So it's really of two reasons as to why they're obviously sending him on loan. The first reason is simple. Making him look good and see whether they can obviously reinstate him in the team of Arsenal. Then getting money out of him really performs very well. Like you saw the likes of Balogun and how they performed, and Arsenal went ahead to get close to £40 million of his sale. Now, let's go to Tottenham Hotspur. Fabrizio Romano has said, overall, I don't see Tottenham spending crazy money in January. That's not the plan at the moment. They're happy with the balance in the squad right now, but of course, the recovery process of some key players will be important, so perhaps they could look for opportunities towards the end of the January transfer window. So, Fabrizio is confirming to us that Spurs are not willing to spend crazy money in the January transfer window. They've been linked to players like Ivan Toney, who goes for like £60 million. They've been linked to players like Rafinha, who goes for like £70 million. Sorry about that. So they've been linked to players who are not even less than £60 million, and that calls in for a lot for a player. Sorry, for a team like Spurs. And Fabrizio, one of the number one transfer gurus, coming out and confirming to us that they are not willing to spend huge money in the January transfer window. It's evident that they might get in players, but at a cheaper cost. And that puts them off players like Ivan Toney and players like Rafinha. So Ange Postecoglou is expected to work with the squad he's really having, and the only way they could go in for more signings is, all more expensive signings, is when these players who are really injured fail to return back on time. The likes of Van der Ven, the likes of Richarlison, the likes of James Maddison, right? If they fail to return back on time, then it will be very, 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 very hurting for the manager not to get in signings that he wants. But all in all, I want to let you know that Spurs might be looking not to get in new players. And I told you, if they don't do that, then they are doomed to fail. I confirm to you this. If Spurs don't get in signings in January, they are doomed to fail. I know there is a falsehood that is being traded around that they're playing in only one competition. Now, guys, Spurs is playing in only one competition, but they've gone ahead to lose 2 consecutive games. They lost to Chelsea 4-1, and they lost to Wolves 2-1. 2 consecutive games. And you never know what's going to happen to them, because when they return from the international break, let me see their fixtures. They are playing Aston Villa, a team that can come and obviously shock them at their stadium too, because of the injuries they're really having. That is 100% possible. Then after that, they'll pay a visit to Man City. They play a visit to West Ham. They pay a visit to Newcastle. These next 4 fixtures might see Spurs get like 2 or 3 points out of those. Out of the possible 12, they might lose 9, because of the problems they're really having. So if they continue not to obviously plan to get in players in the January transfer window, and they believe that their players can obviously take them to where they deserve to be, that's a falsehood, and they're being hoodwinked by the sporting director and the owner. And I know the owner might be planning not to spend the money of Hurricane this summer, and he might be planning to obviously spend that money, this January transfer window, and he might be planning to spend that money in the next summer transfer window of 2024. I think that's the plan. But to me, that's really ugly. It's really an ugly plan of him, and he should obviously take it to his notebook that he needs to back Ange Postecoglou as soon as possible. He needs to back the guy, because the guy has shown us that he really has potential, but is his squad good enough to obviously match the levels of Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United, plus Chelsea? Because these teams really have elite players. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But they are not planning to obviously get in money to spend in the January transfer window. Rico Lewis, he's part of the team. He's part of the team of England that traveled, I think, is it to Macedonia to play them today. And in the next 10-20 minutes, the game is going to be on. Has come out and really said on the Euros 2024, because they're going to be played next year in June. He has said, in terms of a tournament, you can only select the amount you can, and it can be a key factor in going or not. But for me, I'm not really focusing on that right now, but I understand it is a key thing that could contribute to me being picked or not. So, having been involved into these other 2 fixtures of England for the very first time, there's not going to hate to kick a ball, but I think today he might obviously get minutes in him. Rico Lewis was asked about his plan to obviously go to the Euros, and he has said he's not really looking at that. He's looking at different things altogether as a player of England. And I really anticipate that it's obviously going to be really one of the most important things that all beats that will ever and ever and ever happen to this guy. Congratulations to him for really getting his first England invite, and wish him the best of luck. But Rico Lewis is really good, and I think for Tottenham England, I keep him on the squad. These players that really have huge potential, even if you bring them in the squad of the national team and they camp with it and they don't kick a ball, it's all about them getting to know how it is to play for the English national team. And Rico Lewis is the guy. And you saw to it that Carl Palmer got his minutes as they played, is it Lithuania? There is a team they played that they won 2-0, right? So I really anticipate that lots of things are really going to happen to that guy and his return. So guys, your thoughts on Fabio Vieira to Marseille in January are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Tottenham Hotspur not giving Ange Postecoglou more money to spend in the January transfer window? And lastly, your thoughts about Rico Lewis and the Euro plan of 2024. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Bye-bye.